I request everyone to kindly take your seats. A very good morning to one and all present here. Namaste. I, Banasri Datta, on behalf of Dibrugad University, welcome you all to the Dibrugad University International Literature Festival 2025, where words weave worlds. We are privileged to have among with us prominent personalities from different parts of the world whose contribution made this world a better place. May I now introduce to you the speaker of this workshop, fourth era of branding. He is none other than respected Kiran Khalab, sir. Sir, we are very happy to hear with you. Thank you, sir. Kiran Khalab sir is an advertising professional, motivational speaker, teacher, and an author. He has published 3 books of fiction: Halfway Up the Mountain, Two Pronouns and a Vow, Black River Run, and read from them in London, Singapore, New York, and Beijing. He won the Indo-UK Short Story Writing Award in 1995. Started with teaching. He made a mark in the field of advertising. He co-founded Chlorophyll, a brand consultancy which has over 400 brands. A rock climber himself, Sir facilitated contest of bouldering, a form of rock climbing in Navi Mumbai in 2016 and 17. He also has a species of spider named after him, Thaltecopis kirankhalapi. Heartiest welcome to you, sir.
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly.
Okay, sir. Now, I would also like to introduce to you another speaker, Dr. Barnali Patwari Madam, who will be the moderator of this workshop. Barnali Patwari Madam is an assistant professor at Center for Management Studies, Dibrugad University. Her research work primarily revolves around sustainable tourism, indigenous culture, and community empowerment. With focus on sustainable tourism, popularly in the northeast region of India, she has published works in peer-reviewed journals and book chapters. Heartiest welcome to you, ma'am. Now, I would like to introduce our rapporteurs of today's workshop. They are Pranamika Basumatari and Astha Sunwal. They are the student of Dibrugad University. Let's take the opportunity to learn from these eminent personalities. For this, now may I request Dr. Barnali Patwari Madam to take over the workshop from here. Ma'am, please come.
Thank you, Banashri. I know we are eagerly waiting for the insightful presentation, so I won't take much of your time. But I just wanted to give you a background. We are highly privileged to have Mr. Kiran Khalab, one of the renowned figures in the field of marketing and branding. And he is known for shaping some of the most successful brands in the country. And he was also the chairman of the committee that consulted with UIDAI, or the Government of India's arm, that developed Aadhaar, that is the world's largest biometric based identity projects. So, Kiran sir has been helping businesses across different industries to enhance their market presence and communication strategies. He is the co-founder, as you have already known, that he is the co-founder and managing director of Chlorophyll, which is one of India's leading brand consultancy firms, and which was established with a vision to help businesses craft meaningful and impactful brand identities. And by combining strategic insights, creativity, and deep understanding of market dynamics, Kiran Khalap and his team at Chlorophyll help businesses build lasting relationships with their customers. And Chlorophyll's approach goes beyond traditional marketing techniques. It focuses on creating brands that are rooted, that are deeply connected with the purpose of the business and aligned with the core values of the organization. So Kiran Khalap's concept of the fourth era of branding presents a fresh and insightful approach to how brands need to evolve in today's fast-changing market environment. And Sir believes that branding is no longer just about logos, advertisements, and consumer perceptions. It's about creating meaningful connections that go beyond traditional marketing. So let's not waste time and let's hear from him his key insights on branding in this transformative era. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
I have to sit and do the presentation because we have some problems of connectivity. Otherwise, so I'll start with the end. Thank you all for coming. Please remember that by some very bad error of mine, I have set up another meeting at 5 to 1, so I might rush out at the end of this session. But I request you, I have kept 2 books over here and a QR code. Any of you who wants to download that book free of charge, please go use your phone, use the QR code and download the book. They are both books are free. These were both launched on our 25th anniversary.
It is working, you need to take it a little bit closer.
Closer, okay. Okay, so that's what we are calling it, the fourth era of branding. And there's another concept called the pseudo-mature market. These are both concepts that we have patented over the past 25 years of our existence. This is just to introduce myself. Been in this since 1983 and you can see what is happening to me as I grow older. But the point here is I have not been to a university like you are currently. I have learned everything about branding as a practitioner. So I have met some of the finest minds in marketing, I have met some of the finest professors in marketing, but my biggest university is the practice of branding, day in and day out. Since 1999 in Chlorophyll, we have done 450 brands. We have created 50 new ones. We have 4 patents. We have our own innovation lab, and the innovation lab has 3 world firsts. I'm a TED and TEDx speaker, and if you go online and look for the Liverpool MBA program, online program, we have it's spelled incorrectly, so you want to take it away? The spelling is wrong.
Spelling is wrong, you can remove it.
So the branding module for the Liverpool thing was curated and delivered by me. As has already been pointed out, 3 books of literary fiction, 1 book of non-fiction. This is available to you. This is the oldest brand on earth. It's 1,200 years old, and we created this for the Maharana of Mewar. This Bengali has already mentioned. It was a totally different experience. I don't think we have the time to explain to you how Aadhaar was created. Just trivia. One is the word Aadhaar came from a farmer in Rajasthan. And the reason why we latched onto it is because Aadhar is one of the few words which has the same meaning in Sanskrit-based languages and Tamil. Right? So that is why Tamil is older than Sanskrit, and therefore there aren't too many words that are overlapping. But this was one. As I said, very passionate, very mediocre. But I'm trying to put a village child on the Olympic podium for rock climbing by 2036. You just have to believe that that is me. There is no further proof. And I have a spider named after me. That story is also too long, so we are going to... I do a lot of pro bono work. So there is an organization called Protsahan, I am their chairman. There's an organization called Arpan, I help them with their branding strategies. We created a brand called Together for autistic children. It is doing very well. And there is an organization called Baitak, which uses music to help village children to do better in academics. I practice Vipassana every single day. Srinivasan sir, I forgot to mention in that when you said, do you have any message? My message is, if all of you can practice meditation every day, it will dramatically improve your academics. There is now enough proof. Has anybody heard of fMRI? Has anybody heard of fMRI? fMRI has revolutionized our understanding of the brain. It's called functional MRI. And now there is enough proof that even 5 minutes of sitting by yourself and focusing on what's happening inside your head can dramatically alter your brain structure. So please, my humble request, do that for yourself. It will help you dramatically. Okay. Anybody knows what brand means itself? Trust. Trust. What the word means. Anani has said that I will not get my ticket back to Mumbai if you all don't ask questions. So please keep asking questions. So the word brand simply means to burn. In 13 languages it means to burn. And it came from the idea of burning cattle to prove ownership. But that does not help us in creating a brand. So there is a textbook definition which says the sum total of the perceptions in the mind of the customer. This is a textbook. If you go and read famous authors like Akar, you will get this as a definition. Unfortunately, this definition is invalid because A, when you have a new brand, there is no perception. B, in the social media age, before listening to the brand, people are listening to the influencers. So there is a lot of problem with that particular definition. So what is a brand? Arnalil, please number 1. Please answer. Take a guess. How long can a human being live without food? And all the answers that I am giving you here are from Guinness Book of Records. Because in India, if you ask, how long can a human being live without? Arey haan, mere Jaipur mein ek chacha hai. That chacha has lived without food only on sunlight for many years. So that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about Guinness Book of World Records. Anybody wants to take a guess? You are not. There is no penalty for
12 days, I think.
how many?
12 days.
Most people's answer depend on how hungry they feel every day. Any other answers? How long can a human being live without food? Come on, you are supposed to be part of this session. 12 days is too low.
Too low.
42 days around.
42 days is coming closer. Anybody else?
60 days.
60 days.
And look at the man there. Is that the man?
This is the man. This is the before picture. I haven't shown you the after picture. So he went to the doctor. The doctor said try fasting. He liked it. So he did it for 300 days. And as you can see, there is a lot of weight that he had to lose anyway. Right.
3 days?
3 days, okay.
1 week?
1 week.
A week.
So Andreas was locked up by the police. The police forgot that they had locked him up. Then mother woke up after 18 days and said, where is my son? And discovered that he had been locked up. There was no food, no water, just air. Now, Let's see whether you can guess this. This is the most interesting.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. 15 minutes. So the world record is 24 minutes, and this is done underwater. You have to do a lot of practice for this. Next one. So the naughty answer to this is I have a friend who has never thought. But this is your observation, right? Even in deep sleep, when you are dreaming, you are thinking. There are very few moments when you are not thinking. You are thinking while you are sitting somewhere, while you are doing something. I'm not talking about the working mind. When you are working, that thinking is different. There is a working mind and a thinking mind. So what is the point I'm making? The point I'm making is that you and I can survive without tangible things for far more than we can live without intangible things. Thinking is intangible. You can't touch thought. You can't feel thought. You can't smell thought. You can't taste thought. But you can't live without it. We have been trained by either society or our schools and colleges that tangible things are important. Bangla chahiye, gaadi chahiye, but actually it is not. You can have all the banglas and all the gaadis, and if your wife leaves you, it's finished. What we are driven by is intangibles. You all are here because you are proud of Dibrugarh University. You are not here because of just some textbooks, right? We believe in trust, curiosity. I don't know if anybody knows. This is the original logo of Apple computers. Very different from the current logo. So you had Newton sitting under the apple tree, and it was meant to be about curiosity. That curiosity has led Apple to become such a fantastic big brand. Nationality. Anybody knows how India and Pakistan were separated? You have any idea? There was one gentleman called Radcliffe who had never ever visited the subcontinent. He was asked to draw a line. He drew a line on the map, and that led to the largest genocide in the history of mankind. People coming from India to Pakistan were killed, people coming from Pakistan to India were killed, because somebody drew a line and said, this side is India and this side is Pakistan. So this is not about tangible things, this is about intangible things, what you feel. Now, very clever, anybody here learning finance? Anybody from finance? So the moment I make, you are studying? Okay, so this will be interesting for you. The moment I say this, they are saying, yes sir, theek hai sir. This love and affection, all this in personal life is सब चलता है. But when I'm running a company, you have Jairam Menon here. He is part of L&T, which is considered number 2 in the world in its own field, right? It must be several $1 billion. The CEO is going to say, "Arey ye sab nahi chलता." We are talking about ROCE, return on capital employed. You have heard those words, ROI, and one EBITDA and all of that. But here's something very funny that has happened in the past 25 years. Digital technology has transformed the intangible into tangible influences. Look at this chart. This is a chart that all CFOs around the world use. Between 1975 and 2015, the contribution of intangibles to the company's market value has completely reversed. It was 17% in 1975, it has become 84% in 2015, and in 2020 it became 90%. Right? And if you want to understand what that means, here is Apple. Apple's brand value is 516 billion. Apple does not own factories. The factories are owned by Foxconn. Maybe it buys some machinery. So what all that the value is because it has 95,000 patents, out of which 78,000 are active. That is how wealth has been created. Not by building factories, not by having trucks, not by having many million people working for them. Right? What is the moral of the story? The brand is not the total sum of things inside somebody's head. The brand starts as an idea. Steve Jobs started the Apple saying, I will not follow status quo. Everything I do will be different from what the market is doing. That is the starting point of Apple. A brand idea can last long. I already told you that this is 1,200 years old. Anybody into beer? Anybody drinks beer? Are you allowed to drink beer? At that age? Not right. Guess how old the oldest beer brand is? Don't Google it. Just take a guess. There are no. Patrali is not going to take money from you for wrong answers. It's 1,000 years old. It's called Weihenstephaner. So branding means alignment. So what we do when she was talking about what the store will do, we take one brand idea and we align everything to it. The brand name must be reflective of the brand idea. The brand logo must be reflective of the brand idea. The CSR must be reflective of the brand idea. The logo, the brochure must be. Every single thing is reflective of the brand idea. Second quiz. Patrali, I hope you're noting. No, I'm saying just note that I'm doing quizzes. Anybody wants to take a guess at this brand? Everybody in this room knows this brand, except that it has been written differently. This brand was created in 1953. No? So James Bond was created in 1953 by Ian Fleming. The first movie came out in 1962. But look at the difference between the first actor and the current actor. Who was the first actor? Sean Connery, who is on the extreme left. Who is the latest actor? Daniel Craig. If you look at Sean Connery was a chain smoker. He used to drink shaken but not stirred martini every time before fighting. And he was a womanizer. Look at Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig weeps for his girlfriend, does not smoke, and drinks zero alcohol. So what happens to a brand is, even though you have a very strong idea, as society changes, the brand has to change. Every single brand today that we do, we have done 450, we will do another 400 in the next 4-5 years. Every single brand has a sustainability story to tell, because the whole earth is thinking about sustainability. You cannot, even if you are a finance brand, you have to think about sustainability. So as people, when HIV/AIDS came, the kind of risky behavior that Sean Connery displayed was said to be wrong. Therefore, there is no womanizer. People started looking down upon smoking, so he stopped smoking. People start looking down upon heavy drinking, so he stopped heavy drinking. Now, therefore, when we are thinking about a brand, we have to imagine what cannot change and what can change. If you make that error, it will be unrecognizable. People will not recognize you. For instance, what is the aspect of the human being, that physiological aspect of the human being, that does not change over time? Hair changes, you saw my photographs. Skin changes, you get wrinkles. What doesn't change? Loudly. What doesn't change? Heart.
What's your question again?
What physiological aspect of a human being does not change over time? It can be recognized by somebody even after 20 years. The voice.
No words for a wrong answer. You feel free to answer.
Yeah. So let's delve into the four eras. So these are the 4 eras. Era 1 is pre-digital till 2004. Era 2 is 2004 to COVID. Era 3 is post-COVID, and Era 4 is post-AI. And I'm going to give you examples of each one, and then at the end of it, I'm going to finish in half an hour, and at the end of it, we can have half an hour of questions about it. So in era 1, the legal ownership of the brand and the psychological ownership of the brand was with the legal owner of the brand. So Coca-Cola company owned Coke, so they were the psychological and legal owners. And the relationship between the brand and the consumer was one way. The consumer had no way to talk back to the brand. So this is how it looked. There were brand owners on the left hand side, whether it is a corporation, whether it is a government, whether it's an NGO. There are agencies like me, brand consultants, advertising agency, and they would pass on the message to the end consumer. So this is how the entire thing looked.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification chemicals. The first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, ready to work with bloom, secure from the pests of any contradictory force. Purification, of course, is more powerful a weapon than any fleas or army on earth. We are one people. One will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves dry, and be divided and confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Does anybody know what 1984 is? Novel. Who said that? Yeah, tell us about that quickly. Written by whom? Loudly. George Orwell. And what does the novel have?
He's a character Big Brother, and this is
Loudly.
he's a character Big Brother, and
It's like Big Brother. Very nice. Very good. You are the girl who asked that dystopia question then, right? Okay, very good. Right. So what Macintosh is saying is that when I introduce Macintosh, there will be no Big Brother. I will democratize computing. Everybody will find it very easy to do computing. Did you find anything strange in this commercial? It is a 1-minute commercial. It's supposed to be the greatest TVC ever made because it was shown only once in Super Bowl. Only once. Normally TV commercials are shown many times, right? It was shown only once. And it sold 1 million computers. But what is peculiar about the commercial? There is no computer shown. It's purely about the brand's philosophy, right? Anybody wants to guess which year this was? I think this is a wrong quiz for you because most of you weren't born then. So I'll skip this. So in 1985, Coke was very afraid of Pepsi. So they did 2 lakh blind tests. Blind test is, there are 2 glasses placed here with A and B written, and you drink one, and then you drink the next, and you say, I like A or I like B. So they did 2 lakh tests. And they thought that the new Coke that they had created was preferred by people over Pepsi. And they launched new Pepsi. You can see that ad, the best just came out. They got 27,000, this was before internet, 27,000 phone calls per day. They got 12,000 faxes per day. What was everybody saying? Everybody was saying, how dare you change the taste of my Coke? So for the first time, marketers realized who owns the brand, that it is co-owned by the consumers. Right? So this is pre-digital. Now suddenly if you look at post-digital, you have an online community. Anybody here uses Zomato? When you go to a new restaurant, what do you do first? You first check what reviews it has got. When you want to buy a new phone on Amazon, what do you do first? You read the reviews, 4-star, 5-star, what happened, and then decide. So what has happened is that the online community is now intervening between the brand and the end consumer. Look at this. On the left hand side is the original packaging. On the right hand side is the new packaging. Sales down in 20% in 1 month and 30 million lost in 2 months. Mothers said we are not buying the pack on the right. The pack on the left says, when I give Tropicana, I am giving fresh orange juice because the straw is inside the orange. So customers, shareholders, there is this lady, please look her up, Amy Domini, she is one of the top 20 influencers of 20th century. She created socially responsible investing. So she would go to a Coke and say, I represent 2 million shareholders of yours. And if you don't change your practice, we will harm you. Right? So people are now able to talk back to their employees. There was on the Nike campus, there is a building named after Alberto Salazar. Alberto Salazar was caught in the Me Too campaign. And the employees said, we are very sorry, we will not sit in that campus any longer. So they had to change the name of that building. This is shocking. So this has happened on May 29, 2018. This is Starbucks. Two black people are sitting in a Starbucks in, I think, Philadelphia. And just when one of them got up, the waiter thought that he was up to some mischief, so he called the police. And the police came exactly when the third black person came. So those two black people were waiting for the third black person, but the waiter thought they were up to some mischief. Here's what happened. It cost them 16.7 million because they had to train every single person in sensitivity, in gender sensitivity, in race sensitivity. They lost money and we do not know how much money they had to pay to those two guys. Right? So it is no longer about running an ad any longer. It is no longer about communication. It is about what the brand does, how the brand behaves. Right? Now in era 3,
What about those three over there?
That's easy. That's Rhonda.
And that's...
The Big Dipper.
Yeah. What about that one?
Which one?
There's a little blue one right there.
I don't know. Is it special?
Yeah, it's hers.
so grandfather is asking the granddaughter to identify all the stars, but she cannot identify Earth because she hasn't been there. This is an ad by SpaceX by Elon Musk. Who do you think made this ad? Did Elon Musk make this ad for SpaceX? No. It's quite shocking that this ad was created by his fans. So you can imagine how much ownership of the brand of SpaceX there is. That somebody has gone to the extent of shooting a television commercial for SpaceX. So this is what has happened. It is now brand owners, brand facilitators, and everything to do with the earth. Every single brand has to care for the earth. Otherwise, youngsters like you, I have enough research to prove that youngsters, the first question they ask is, what does your company do for the earth? What does it do for CSR? So we have these mega trends. You heard of Rolls Royce? Look what is selling. Rolls-Royce is selling honey because their factory stopped manufacturing cars during lockdown, and they said, let's do something for the earth. And they bought 50 acres of land and planted flowers that would attract bees, because UK has a problem in losing bees, and bees came, and then the bees made honey. So what do you do with the honey? So they are selling it as Rolls-Royce honey. The world's best car is now selling honey. Have you heard of this company? It makes the world's lowest carbon footprint shoe. Anybody has a guess? And it is now tied up with Adidas. So there is a company called Allbirds in Australia, which makes shoes out of seashells and wool and straw and all of that. But the beauty is that shoes are good enough to run a marathon. So Adidas is tied up with them. So everybody is into this. I'll skip. Here is another one. Radical transparency is now part of every. The radical transparency was a phrase invented by a guy called Ray Dalio, and what it means in their company, in Ray Dalio's company, everybody knows everybody's salary. And if somebody makes an error, then that error is corrected on an email which is marked to everybody. So that's called radical transparency. So there's a company called Everlane, which started that in apparel. So if you look at on their website, if you go and buy a shirt, it says that the total cost of that shirt is 54, and they've given a breakup. Materials, labor, our price is 168, and therefore this is the profit we make. They are telling you the profit that they are making. Right? This is radical transparency. Except that New York Times went and checked and figured out that it wasn't so. Equality. So this is another thing. Procter & Gamble donated to so much to US women's pay, but the UK female workers got 28.5 less than. Safety. Again, I don't know if you have seen all the cosmetics that you use now come with hundreds of things saying please don't use so and so thing with paraben. And this is has anybody heard of this man? So 2029 that's just 4 years ago. So there's a gentleman called Ray Kurzweil. He's predicted 86% of the future correctly, and he's currently saying that by 2029 you won't be able to tell the difference between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. So here's what will happen. You have heard of AI, you have heard of IoT. You know what is IoT? Loudly. IoT? Internet of Things, and BCI, which is Body Computer Interface. So I can guarantee you in the next 5 years, if you go to a health guy, he's going to say, sir, why don't you put a chip near your wrist, which can monitor every part of your health. So what is going to happen in the future is that chip is the refrigerator in which you have that particular drink that you need to have. Cranberry juice, as your fridge has run out of it. So the fridge has told your phone that I have run out of the cranberry juice, and that has told the chip in your wrist that we need cranberry juice. And the phone has gone online and checked all the cranberry juices and has decided which one to buy and has ordered it. There is no brand involved. So this is a very, very real possibility that in the future there will be no brands, there will be products, there will be AI, and there will be the whole other thing. So this is the 4th era of branding that I'm talking about. Let me show. Do I share this second concept or should we stop here now?
Like, I think we have already 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
No, so all we can do you have any questions? Otherwise I can take up the second one. Do you have lots of questions? Yeah.
Let's take it up and continue asking questions midway if possible.
Okay, this is another idea that I created in 1995. It's called pseudo-mature. Right? One where all levels of evolution of a product category coexist. Let me show you an example. At the bottom is Datun. Datun people, what do? They graduate to black tooth powder. Black tooth powder goes to white tooth powder. White tooth powder goes to white toothpaste. White toothpaste goes to colored toothpaste. Colored toothpaste goes to mouthwash. But look at the beauty of Colgate. Colgate is there every single place. Right? Now, why use the word pseudo-mature? Because the number of brands can be the same as in mature markets, but the penetration levels are a fraction. It is falsely mature. Let me ask you one more question. This is 1 year old, but it still doesn't matter. So if you go to the US and you ask somebody, what are the number of brands that are there, car brands that are there in the US, the answer is 50. If you go to the UK and you ask what are the number of brands that are there, it is 40. If you come to India and say what are the number of cars that are there in India, which is 40. But in the US, for every 1,000 people, there are 980 cars. In the UK, for every 1,000 people, there are 850 cars. Now guess the number for India. Same number of brands, but how many number of cars per 1,000 human beings? Yes, as she said, no penalty.
500.
How much?
500.
500.
I think it's much more.
Chalo. I hope you are not asleep. 450. So if you come from outside and you say, "Arey, India is a big market, man, there are 40 brands." There are no 40 brands. There might be 40 brands, but all the market is lying at the bottom. At the top, there is no market. So look at why Maruti has 60% market share. This is the reason. What Maruti has done is first created driving. There is no other car manufacturer on earth who has a driving school. Why do I have a driving school? Because I will teach the driver in my Maruti car and hopefully he will learn to ride the Maruti car. Then you have education on mileage to be paid. Diesel kitna deta hai, petrol kitna deta hai. You have spare part and roadside assistance for accessibility. I have experienced this myself in the middle of mountains because I am a trekker and a rock climber. In the middle of mountains, I have found Maruti coming to your assistance. Resale for upgradation. So they are saying, you want to tell us your story? So Barnaby has bought a car, which is a used car, so that she can practice on it and then she'll buy a new one. So that is what Maruti encourages you to do. Then they have corporate. So what they are doing is, at the end is millennials, all of you, you don't want to own anything, you don't want to have wives, you don't want to have husbands, you want to have relationships. So they are saying, okay, don't buy a car, just take it on hire. So that's the way Maruti has done this. Look at this. These are the number of people who have done this is 3,600 service centers in 1,800 cities. This is selling your old car. This is the range. This is how they teach you how to do the calculation. And this is taking it on hire rather than buying. So here is the second way in which people are going to the bottom of the market. So Dove's main one is 225, but it sells a sachet for 2. So that anybody at the bottom of the pyramid can own them. Those of you who like drinking, this is what Glenlivet bottle costs, $7,000. But there is a smaller bottle available for 300. So I can make you experience Glenlivet, and then hopefully when you can afford it, you will buy Glenlivet 12 years.
I have a question.
Yeah.
To what extent do you think this impacts a brand's image? Like, because a lot of people love luxury and the price behind it, and they find it very beautiful to own it because of the price that it comes for. So the moment I get to know that it's also available at a much cheaper price, I probably won't feel the luxury of owning it.
Very nice question. So what you have to do is set the expectation right, that there is a difference between that and that.
Mm-hmm.
So the one which is available in the smaller one will not say 12 years. So when you are buying the 12 years, you are saying, okay, this is 12 years, therefore I can go up.
Right.
ऐसे क्या देख रहा है? अपने रेगुलर टूथपेस्ट में आयुर्वेद की शक्ति डाल रहा हूँ, डाबर लाल दंत मंजन के साथ। भाई, अगर आयुर्वेद की शक्ति चाहिए, तो अपना टूथपेस्ट बदलो और लाओ डाबर रेड पेस्ट, जिसमें है लाल दंत मंजन के गुण। अच्छा, डाबर रेड पेस्ट में है आयुर्वेद की शक्ति, जो जर्म्स को मारे और दे 100 डेंटल प्रॉब्लम से सुरक्षा।
See how insightful it is. They have actually observed what people do. Then they have white toothpaste and they put red powder. They're saying, why don't you convert to a red toothpaste totally?
तो वो देना
वापस कर दिया।
फिर से
बोला खुली वाली नहीं चाहिए। ये निर्मला जी के घर से, ये गुप्ता मैडम फ्लैट 4 से, ये सलमा जी के यहाँ से और ये अनिता जी के यहाँ से।
मैं खुली चीनी कभी नहीं खरीदी। मदर शुगर, प्योर और हाइजीनिक है, शुद्धता भरी मिठास। सल्फर फ्री प्रोसेस से बनी मदर में है शुद्धता भरी मिठास।
This is, I think, 1,200 crore brand. They are not telling you how their sugar is different from other sugars. They are telling you how their sugar is different from commodity sugar. That is how they build the brand. There is never any communication about how they are different from other sugars. And now the final one, if you can see what is happening, you have got Datul available on Amazon. So we started with Datul, came to black tooth powder, came to white tooth powder, came to colored toothpaste, came to mouthwash, and now I'm going back to it. This is true not just of India, it is true of most countries in the world. Even in China, the same thing is happening. We are going back to something which was valuable far earlier, and in the bargain, the entire market is changing. So those are the two concepts. One is 4 eras of branding that has pseudo-mature included in it. So there is a lot of information on the pseudo-mature market in that book, and there is another book called Identity. Yes. Minimum 10 questions, otherwise my ticket is for.
I think I've planned some questions for you, sir. So if we get some questions from the audience first, maybe we can address that.
Whichever. Quickly.
Kindly raise your hands if you have some questions. So that we
And
can
don't
come to you.
feel shy about asking questions. You can. There are no wrong questions.
No questions? So, shall I move ahead? Oh, yes, okay.
May I ask you a question about social media branding?
Yes.
So as we see, businesses are more and more moving towards social media marketing these days. And when we run ads on social media, the attention span of people on social media is very less.
Correct.
We cannot run an ad for more than a minute, not even a minute, let's say.
5 seconds.
5 seconds or 10 seconds, 15 seconds at max. And so in today's day of social media branding, I don't think there is a brand which has such powerful presence, impactful presence. But people are just talking about that brand of that category. So would you like to say something about that, how to hack into it? And the social media algorithms are ever changing.
Correct. So there is no easy answer. We take in chlorophyll, we take 2004 as the starting point of social media because Facebook got 1 million subscribers in 2004. Even though there were other brands like MySpace, Facebook grew from there. Now, as you are aware, people will move from, all the old people have moved away from Facebook. They have gone on Instagram. From in Instagram, again they'll go to Reels, then they'll go to Vine. And then, so what I mentioned, that a brand has to have unchanging assets and changing expressions. So the brand needs to adapt to those media. When Elon Musk bought over Twitter, all the entire scientific community, serious people who are on Twitter, have shifted to Blue Sky. There is nobody left there. So there are no meaningful conversations on science happening on Twitter any longer because the entire community has moved to Blue Sky. So the only answer to that is we have to be as capable of adapting to the audience that is changing. But it is not one size fits all. So for instance, if Lifebuoy needs to convert 1 crore people, digital media is of no use. The cost per thousand of reaching people is the lowest in television still in India. So if you want to sell something in crores, you will use television. If you want to sell something which is D2C, you will use digital. But sooner or later, in fact, there is enough research now that D2C brands die if they are not available offline. So all D2C brands, whether it is Nykaa or Myntra or whoever, is now busy opening shops. Because just online doesn't, correct? So the only answer is that we find more and more collaborators who understand that medium better than I do. I can't understand that medium. I've done Google tests and all of that so that I understand a little bit, but I'm not a master of it. So the only way to do it is to remember what is the unchanging aspect of the brand and then convert that into an expression which is right for that. In China and South Korea, the TV serials now are 5 seconds long. So if you're looking at how much the attention span is, so they have to do episodes where in 5 seconds you are setting up a question and then in the next 5 seconds and the next 5 seconds. That's how bad it is.
Any more questions from the audience?
Sir, I am Kavita from 4th semester MBA. Sir, I would like to ask you a question which another gentleman has already asked, a similar kind of question. Sir, as we have shown a picture of Duilf, a miniature version and a proper Duilf. So, how do you think, because the rich people who are like, very brand focused, so they are buying the things because they want to show the luxury or they are, because other people could not afford it. So, how it is going to affect the sales if you create a smaller version so everybody can able to buy that?
Good question, as I said. It is more applicable to luxury brands than functional brands. Dove is not so much about luxury as much as function. It is famous for having 3/4 cream or whatever else it is. So the person who is buying that bottle as well as the person who I do a lot of research myself. So when in front of my house is a chain of stores called Apna Bazaar, where the lowest people come to buy. They go and buy down. Because to them, that is a piece of something aspirational that they are buying. I used to work on gold flake cigarettes while I was in Calcutta. When you ask the rickshaw driver, why do you smoke gold flake? He'll say, because the person who sits in my rickshaw smokes gold. But the person who sits in the rickshaw smokes the filtered version. This fellow smokes the unfiltered version. That's right. So it is more and more applicable. So if you have, say, the biggest example of such a brand being destroyed, the question you're asking,
Perfume
is in Pierre Cardin. Pierre Cardin was a famous brand which was worth 1 billion. They started selling pens instead of luxury items, and it has gone now down to some 100 million. So your question is right for certain categories, not for functional categories.
Thank you, sir.
I think sir
Thank you. Just to break the silence, I'd just like to ask you, very interesting the photo you showed of the number of the numbers in the audience in India compared to the more developed countries. Now, is that due to the fact that India is a country with great inequalities in social structure, in education, in sophistication? Is that the answer to that disparity?
Income inequality. All the research we do at the bottom of the pyramid Everybody wants to upgrade. Everybody. Buying a branded shirt as opposed to buying it from the footpath itself is an upgrade. There is a brand called Zudio, owned by Tatas. It sells things only below 199. It never goes past. It is the fastest growing retail brand in India. Because what are you doing? You are telling this person who lives in wherever he lives in or she lives in, that you can go into an air conditioned shop and you can afford it. It's 199. You don't have to go on the footpath any longer. And what you have, we do all kinds of brands. One of the reasons why I don't want to change my profession is the kind of experiences I have. We were working on a tractor brand, and I was in a village called Bargad, 200 people, 40 families. And I was asking the farmers, what do you do? They said, we use social media only for learning about farming. I said, then when do you relax? They said, at the end of the day, we watch Telugu films on our phones. Why Telugu films? Sir, usme action, fire, rancor. And they are dubbed, so I understand. Then he asked, he was very offended. I said, sir, आप iPhone क्यों नहीं खरीदते? ये क्या phone लेके रखा? So I said, why? I said, sir, iPhone is used in New York and all that. You should be using iPhone, not this OnePlus and so on. So that aspiration thing is attached to some. Yeah, you want to ask?
So, is it okay, sir, if I put my questions from here itself?
Yeah.
Sir, from your presentation, we have got an understanding of the world of branding, but you as a person, you have a very interesting life story. So my first question is, as you say, brand is an unchanging idea.
Correct.
So what is that unchanging idea that has shaped your life and has helped you in building your identity as the Kiran Khala?
Very, very clever. How long have you been practicing?
Because I was very much interested to know this answer.
So the year is 1977. That was the year I read J. Krishna. And from there on, for instance, I lost all sense of ambition. I know most people do not believe me, but I have never ever planned my life. Never. At the most, catching an airplane, but otherwise, next year what am I going to do? What am I going to buy? I have never had a plan. Who am I going to marry? The simple thing is, in my mind, the unchanging idea is this: that the sole role of a human being is to pursue conscious evolution. There is unconscious evolution happening. All of us, your child's jawline will be smaller than yours because we are eating cooked food instead of raw food. That is unconscious evolution happening about human beings. We are all growing taller. Girls are getting puberty earlier. That is unconscious evolution. But we are the only species that can actually pursue conscious evolution. That is the sole idea that I have. So that's why I will do meditation every single day, irrespective of where I am.
Why I asked you this question has a connection with the next question which I'm going to put to you. Is that when we look back into your life, when you had started your career, you were a teacher, and that too at only $4 per month. But in today's time, when we look, we have the students who at the very start of their career, they very easily get frustrated or they become impatient by the fact that they are not drawing the so-called handsome package and they end up leaving jobs frequently. So how do you want to address the students and maybe suggest ways to build a strong resilience in the world of materialistic pursuit and remain focused?
I don't give advice. I'll tell you a story. We used to work for Hindustan Unilever, employer. So I would go to all the IIMs to understand what the students were. So I had gone to IIM Bangalore, and all the meetings are late night, 12 to, we are all sitting at the as I finished the classes. And I said, you know, all of you want to join McKinsey, you want to join Solomon Brothers, you want to doesn't any of you want to do something unusual? Like I became a teacher, I never spoke about it when I said became a teacher when I was 20 years old. He said, sir, come. So one boy he called, either in rubber chappals. This name is Sharad. Sharad, father is a lower division clerk in the railways. And he scraped and saved and put him into iron. Scraped and saved, put him into iron. And in iron, you know, you all are aware of day 0, day 1, all of that, you know. When people come to offer you jobs on the campus, there is something called day 0, there's something called day 1. Day 0, the best companies in the world come. So, sir, on day 0, he got a job from Accenture. He doesn't have a mobile phone, he can't afford a mobile phone. So, from the public phone, he called up the father and said, Baba, I got a job with Accenture, 12 lakh rupees per year. And the father said, don't feel bad, you'll get a better job soon. Why? Because the father had read in Times of India that when you get out of Ahmedabad, you get 1.25 crores. So what is the start? So I think one of the things they have done now after these kind of things happened is that they now publish only the median salary. They don't say the highest salary. Now each one of you has to decide what you want to do. There's another fantastic story on Infosys. I was working on Infosys and we had gone abroad and they said, Arey, Infosys there is no home life balance, work life balance. So I asked the Infosys guy, what is your answer? The Americans are saying no work life balance. The Japanese are saying we are okay. Germans are saying there is no work life balance. Aapko kya lagta? He said, see, from the time you are born till you are 20, your father's house. At 20 you get a job and you work till 60. Then 60 you retire and live till 80. 40 saal work, 40 saal life. Perfectly balanced. So you have to decide what you want to do, how fast you want to live your life. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be sad? All of those questions are part of that salary. You can't decide itna hi salary hona chahiye. I was extremely happy when I was getting 300 bucks an hour in Rajghat. I used to send my father 100 bucks back and he used to laugh. What will 100 rupees do? I said, no, this is my way of saying thank you to you. What do you want to do? First you decide, forget the salary, how many things are going to change in your life you don't know. Your job that you are looking for might be taken out by you. You first decide what do you want to be. You want to be happy? You want to be competitive? There are many people and it's perfectly alright. You will bear the fruit of what you pursue. End of story. Chale?
I have a question.
I'll try.
A question after you.
Yeah,
Go. Please go ahead. I'll go after you.
okay. So just a simple question regarding the brand. Say for example a brand which is already existing from last 50 to 60 years, not doing good now, say failing. So will it be better to rejuvenate the one or will it be better to create a new one?
So the entire thing, we have a phrase, it is there on the book, that the human memory is the most expensive real estate on earth. So when you say rejuvenate the brand, unless the brand does new things, there is no rejuvenation. Air India is currently ranked 79th or 124th. Do you think having a new logo will change anything? Nothing will happen. Air India will have to train every single air hostess. I had a school friend who was in Air India. He said, Kiran, do you know what we do? We have a shift change at 6 o'clock. So we walk slower to the aircraft. So we get overtime. You can't have this. So when you say rejuvenate, it means completely change the behavior of every single thing.
So how to survive the competition?
You have to change what you are doing. You might do fewer things, but you have to do them well. Your products have to be different. Your service has to be different. You can't rejuvenate a brand by rejuvenating its communication, by rejuvenating its logo. Hopeless. Sorry.
Hi. So during the pandemic, I started this brand, if I can call it, called Everyone's Creative on social media, where I discuss creativity in mundane ways. So as months passed, I started doing online exhibitions as well. And then I went to Bombay, worked in an art gallery. I started doing it professionally. So I started doing art marketing, art sales, exhibitions, and I also posted about what I painted, what others paint. And I'm right now developing a Northeastern artist community to promote them at mainstream communities, like in mainstream galleries around the country and beyond. So as you know, I'm juggling between multiple things right now. So everybody wants me to define what I'm trying to do, but I don't want to do that. So till what extent do you think I should define myself, or should I cater to what everyone is telling me?
It's a beautiful question. So there is, just watch one video called Start with the Why by a gentleman called Simon Sinek. It is the most famous video on YouTube. Simon Sinek, S-I-M-O-N-S-I-N-E-K. And he explains to you how the brain structure responds to why and not what. So what you explain to me is all of this, what you do. Why are you doing it? Yesterday, Jairam and I were coming together from the airport and we met a friend of mine. It's amazing. He does trekking only in the Northeast and he does only homestays. And he was a big shot in Reliance and he said, no, I'm going to try in my own way to incorporate the Northeast into mainstream India. That is why he's doing it. What he's doing is trekking. So if you want, you define why you are doing it. Are you doing it to express yourself? Are you doing it to enrich the Northeast states? Are you doing it so that the Northeast states get a taste of the global world?
I'm trying to break the obvious. At the moment people think about creativity, it's about painting or about creative writing.
So, spend 5 minutes with yourself. Think about it. I'll have to go. Sorry, I'm very sorry. If you all want, I can come back, or I can be here the rest of the day and you can ask me questions. You can also ask me questions.
So that you can connect yourself.
And please download the books so that all the people in Chlorophyll will be happy. They have put in a lot of effort in this. Thank you very much. You have been very patient. Nobody laughed at me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We have learned a lot from today's workshop, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, this is a very beneficial session for all of us. I am offering my vote of thanks to sir. You came here for us and we are very helpful and privileged to have you here with you, sir.
Same here.
Thank you,
I'm very
sir.
happy I came.
And I also thank our other dignitaries present out here throughout this workshop and all the attendees, all our faculty members of this center and from outside of this center. Thank you everyone for your valuable time. Thank you.
Tag me. No, no, I have no education. I'm just a poor BSc. I barely passed. My partner Anand, is a fantastic man. He passed away in 2016. Chal.
मेरा तो 10 बजे हो गया
নাম প্ৰিন্ট কৰা আছে নাম প্ৰিন্ট দিব না নাম